Hi everyone, how are you? So today I want to discuss this case that's since ended. It's in favor of the person who was accused by a TikTok tarot reader of murder from her tarot reading. But I wanted to get a little bit more. I have kind of mixed feelings about this case. I really do. It seems cut and dried, simple, but I think it's a little more nuanced when you look a little closer at it, in my opinion. And I want to cover some of the details and see what you think. Do you agree that I have, like I said, I have mixed feelings about this. So I'll show you why. So yeah, I'm sure you may have heard in the news that the celebrity psychic has been told to pay. Now, she's going to appeal it, I believe, but on just this month, March 3rd, 2026, she was ordered to pay $10 million after falsely accusing this professor of orchestrating the Idaho murders. And this TikToker's name is Ashley Gillard. She's 41 years old. She's based in Texas. And this is the TikTok tarot reader. So this saga began in November of 2022, November 13th, 2022, when 4 University of Idaho students were murdered in their off-campus house in Moscow, Idaho. And I'm sure you've probably seen this many times in the news. This was a huge story. I mean, this was bigger than Meghan Markle for a while. Huge. I mean, they dominated because it was so unheard of that this type of murder would happen in that quiet town, and these beautiful young students, and they didn't know who did it. There was no leads. So for a while there, the police had no leads. They had no idea who did this. It was a big murder mystery. And, with any murder mystery like this, you had everyone talking about this. This was on the front page of the news day after day after day. So it's sort of important, I think, just to set the stage here of the fact that, Ashley was not the only one trying to figure out who did it, right? As a tarot reader or a psychic or whatever, medium, whatever, that people are going to try to figure out what happened because everybody wanted to know. And I think perhaps more people were paying attention to the tarot readers because of this, because no one had any idea everybody in the world's talking about it, and no one had any idea who was it. There were no leads of any kind for a while. So that, I think, played into this heavily, as far as why would a tarot reader be taken to task so harshly, in my opinion, when she's just doing a tarot reading, right? But it goes a little bit beyond that. I'm going to get into it. She went a little far, I think, but at the same time, I think that she was suffering from mental health issues as well. Now, remember, November 2022, we're just getting off the COVID psyop. Things are still crazy. Things are stressful, unprecedented times. And then something like this happens, and who knows, COVID psyop could have led to this, as well as so many other tragedies. But just to get to focus on this was just to emphasize that this was such a huge, sensational story around the world that really played into how things turned out here. And also, Ashley is a very charismatic, is that the word? I don't know how I came across her videos. I don't normally go to TikTok too often, but every once in a while when there's a news story or something going on, I'll check out TikTok. And somehow I did come across her videos in that time period around December 2022. Now, TikTok took a lot of them down, unfortunately, so I can't show you. I'm going to search around for clicks. But if you had seen it, she was really entertaining to watch. Like, she's a very, she wasn't trying to be entertaining. And by the way, this is a lesson for all tarot readers to make sure to put for entertainment purposes only in front of all their videos for this reason, right? For anyone who's commenting on, current events and whatnot. But no, this is different because the person that she accused was not a public figure. So that really changed the game here as far as a defamation lawsuit. But still, she's a very entertaining tarot reader. I mean, she's extremely confident, like to the point of pathology, perhaps you could say. But it was still a lot of fun to watch. You know, you're just like, wow, she's into it. And she's like, she's so confident. This one did it, and this is how they did it, and this is exactly why they did it. Like, she had the whole story, you know, incredible details, or or just made up details, however you want to look at it. But it's all about your intuition, right? So if something pops in your head, even if it seems like, where are they getting that from? She's saying she's getting it from her intuition, from her psychic abilities. And she was just very beautiful girl, always, looked great. She's like, you wouldn't be like, who's the other very famous, popular psychic, Miss Cleo or something like that. She was just really put together, well dressed, always looked good and entertaining and very confident. You couldn't help but being drawn to her videos and watching them because they were, they're good videos. She's a good reader. Well, maybe not that good, but not as good. She was very, very confident here, a little overconfident. And I think that also played into how things worked out. But my take on it is, well, where was that overconfidence coming from? All right, so now she accused a professor at the University of Idaho, who was not even a suspect. According to her, she saw in the cards, this professor did it. And the problem was, the professor had nothing to do with it. It turned out to be someone else entirely, and she had no connection to it. Now, what caused her to have to pay for a defamation suit was that the professor sent her desist letters, right, from her lawyers, she even got a visit from police saying, this woman didn't do it, she's not a suspect. And Ashley, the tarot reader, she wouldn't stop. She kept defaming the woman. She was so overconfident in her own abilities that even after they arrested someone else for the murder, she didn't apologize. She didn't say, oops, I got it wrong, sorry, nothing. She still, to this day, she went to court and defended herself, another huge mistake, which I think shows her mental health issues. She didn't hire a lawyer. She had money to do that. She didn't hire a lawyer. She represented herself in a courtroom for a defamation suit. And she did act crazy from reports coming from people who were at the trial. She was going off on tangents. She was cross-examining herself, asking herself a question and then answering it. She was again overconfident in court. She still, even in the courtroom, she went to this defamation trial thinking that she could still prove to this day that the professor did it. I mean, we're talking serious mental health issues here, which is what concerns me, that they just slapped her with $10 million. Now, some people watching it think that she was faking mental illness and that maybe she was trying to get out of paying through mental illness. And I have to wonder, well, it does seem like the fact that she kept consistently accusing this professor, again and again, and whatnot, and going through all that, and I think it's legitimate. So yeah, I'm bothered a bit that somebody who may have mental health issues was, instead of addressing that, they just turned and let her make a fool out of herself in court, representing herself when she doesn't have any legal experience, and let this drag on and become a huge international tabloid story, and then charging her $10 million for a tarot reading. I mean, I understand why they did it, and I agree, but at the same time, I think that if this person, they should have evaluated whether or not there were serious mental health issues here, and if so, that should have been taken into consideration, in my opinion. But anyways, I'm going to show you some of these videos, though. You can see for yourself.
Those of you saying that I'm doing this for money, you got to really think about it. I'm the only one who mentioned Rebecca Schofield. In fact, I'm probably the sole reason why she's going to be looked at as a suspect. With that being said, it was a better route for me to make money from this information than just to put it on social media, because social media is not paying me. What I'm saying is true. And Rebecca knows what I'm saying is true because she did it. I could have taken this information and brought it directly to her and said, hey, I have this information about you. I'm willing to release it. You can stop it in multiple ways. I didn't take that route though because I have purpose behind this. Helping to solve this case could also bring light to Tiffany Valiante's case, Tamla Horsford's case, Josh Gimon's case, any case that I've worked on. It's deeper than Rebecca Schofield. It's deeper than me. What I bring to the world is revolutionary, bigger than money. For those of you saying that I'm doing this for money, you gotta really think about it. You should have known better than to think I would leave. You should have known better than to doubt I should leave. It don't matter if I'm up, matter if I'm down. Either way, I'm gonna be around. You should have known that I would stay by your side. You should have known your girl was gonna ride or die. And it just don't matter if you're rich or poor, out or in. Doing 5 to 10, you should have known better. I would have blew that if I could sing, but y'all should have known better. TikTok had me banned. This is the teacher who potentially had the 4 Idaho students killed. She's the one who ordered the execution. As you can see from here, she may have been a part of LGBTQ community and she may have dated Kaylee or wanted to. Brief synopsis of who killed the University of Idaho college students and why. Their murder was ordered by Rebecca Schofield. Her targets were Kaylee and Madison. Rebecca was highly interested in Kaylee. She spent a lot of time fantasizing and thinking about her. They may have had some sort of fling. But ultimately, because of stubbornness and inability to see eye to eye, they broke it off. When they broke it off, Kaylee and Madison was seen together, and Rebecca did not like this because she felt that it could cause her trouble. She could get snitched on for dating a student. She was so consumed and worried about losing respect, admiration, and her possessions that she hired the killer to carry out the murder. The killer did it simply for money and to be back into school and so that he can finish his studies. He was previously in trouble and maybe kicked out.
Which both of those turned out to be a crock of shit and an Argonaut. TikToker Ashley Gouliard maintained she was only seeking to help the investigation into the slayings.
Okay, so, remember this was a time nobody had any idea who it could be, and this is a huge story. People are trying to figure it out. Everybody's forensically, all the armchair, investigators are combing through all their leads and the University of Idaho and the students and, the social media and whatnot. And here pops up this girl who is so confident. She knows exactly what happened and exactly why. And I wish I could show you the readings. They took them all down, unfortunately. But you can see that she was just this overconfident. No allegedlys. No, none of that. She was like, this is what happened. I know it happened. She knows it happened. And she even contacted the FBI, and this came out in court that she emailed the FBI and told them this is who did it and this is why. So this was over the top, and again, this was such a sensational story that I think people were hungry for answers, that seeing this person come out say, I know exactly what happened. No one knew. Well, did she know somebody? She could have been connected somehow. Nobody knew. Like, how does she really know this stuff? Because she was so confident with it. And I think it drew her more attention than would normally be if a TikTok tarot reader came out and said stuff like this, if the case weren't so big. And also, like I said, she never said, for entertainment purposes only. And she picked out a private citizen and repeatedly, continuously accused her of doing the murder, and she went into all these details of exactly why she did it, and et cetera, making all these accusations about her without any basis. And even when she was sent a cease and desist letters, multiple ones, she never stopped. It was really kind of entertaining in a way, but in a train crash kind of way. Like, what is going on here? But again, this overconfidence and the fact that she refused to accept that she was wrong, and because for whatever reason she just felt that her intuition was infallible, and she went all the way to court and represented herself in court, which was another train crash, which everyone, I'm sure there's multiple videos out there, people talking about, how crazy she was in court. And then again, that brings up the mental health aspect of it too, that, well, wait a minute, maybe we're not dealing with someone with a full deck of tarot cards here. And perhaps instead of just bashing tarot readers and saying, oh, they're all fake and phony and instead, maybe let's talk about the mental health aspect of this as well, because obviously, this is not someone who, is thinking clearly to behave this way and to continue. And also, there were other things going on. She did, after this, she was evicted from her apartment.
Also, what's really irritating, now I got a damn cold, babe. What's real irritating about this eviction is I was so kind to them. Like, I could have reported them for federal fraud, misuse of funds, stealing, bribery of judges, obstruction of justice, so many different things. I could have reported them for all the things that they've done, all the violations. I could have sued them in federal court, but I gave them an opportunity to just fix what they did to me, and for me to turn a blind eye and walk away. Because for them to be held accountable for what they did to everyone, it would have to be like some type of class action lawsuit. I didn't do any of that. I gave them an opportunity to fix it. And instead of being fixed, they ignored me and treated me like a piece of shit and further defamed and damaged my record. Also, what's really irritating, now I got a damn cold, babe. What's real irritating about this eviction is I was so kind to them.
All right, so this video was posted about 5 months later on April 10th, 2023. So you have to wonder, well, what was going on that she was evicted from her apartment? And she's ranting and raving about, I could have sued them. I could have had a class action lawsuit, blah, blah, blah. So again, this is showing this is somebody who's troubled and has got issues, right? And it goes more. So after this happened, after she was evicted, she was upset. She decides to go to Bali.
I would like to go to Bali so I can get myself together and clear my mind and just enjoy life for like a few months. The issue is my son does not want to come with me. He does not see the value that I see in it. Also, I think I want to bring a companion with me, like, so that I won't be alone. I'm literally always alone, like for the past, 8 years? I want to bring a companion to Bali with me. My son doesn't want to come, so an adult.
Okay, so after lawsuits were filed against her, TikTok took down her videos of her readings, and she had to open a new account called, her previous account was Ashley Book of Life, and there's a lot of copycat accounts to that effect now, but now her account is Lord Ashley G. So then she went to Bali and she started posting TikToks of herself in Bali, which, in my opinion, was a huge mistake, because this is leading up to a lawsuit where she potentially going to pay a lot of money, and she's making it look like she's living this life of extreme leisure and just living it up, and defaming people, accusing someone of murder, and ruining her life basically, because of those videos got a lot of hits. And she is, flaunting money here, like for example this one.
This morning I woke up beautiful again and craving attention, so I decided to make some bitches mad from scratch. I started by going out and doing something with my life as well. This morning I woke up beautiful again and craving attention, so I decided to make.
Oh, and she's really aggressive towards anyone who criticized her. I mean, if you criticized her, she was just like, basically, you're a loser and you're jealous, So she's got this very overconfident, so kind of arrogant, demeanor, which is, while entertaining to watch from afar, didn't help her case, put it that way. And also, I think, alludes to potential mental health issues. So this is all leading up to her case, which of course she again represented herself and lost in the end. And again, I'm like, is she a perpetrator? Yes. Is she a victim? I think also yes. I think that it was just she chose a particularly sensational case, and she was too overconfident and she refused to back down and admit to being wrong, and this led to her demise. Pride come before a fall. But again, what mental health issues are we talking about here? Really.
She's back. She's back.
So that was from 2024. Again, leading up, all of this is leading up to the trial. This is all being, followed and talked about. Here, she's got some oracle card readings here.
Part 1, Solving Mysterious Deaths, Kadir and Nazir.
So she moved on to other murder cases. So to give you a taste of her readings here.
Part 1, Solving Mysterious Deaths, Kadir and Nazir Lewis, the twins who were murdered or found dead in Georgia. Spirit come out kicking, okay? Because 999 came out as the first message, which I asked, why were they killed? So they were found in Bell Mountain, Georgia, on the mountains, Georgia mountains. A white male has been identified as being involved in their deaths. Even though the GBI ruled it a murder-suicide, nobody believes that. Nobody with good sense believes that. 999 also indicates a celebration, but also the end of one process of life or cycle and entering in the next phase. They could have been sought out, and race could have played a part. Part 1, Solving Mysterious Deaths, Kadir and Nazir.
So there's just a taste of it, but like I said, with all the hype of the murder of the Idaho students, those readings were, really blown up and exponentially. And this has become a huge, story after it. And of course, leading up to everything, even the courtroom was a huge story. And there's so many videos of people covering that and talking about that. Here's another video going back to her talking about the Idaho.
So as Xana is there contemplating the next move to make, something happens unexpectedly. She gets a visitor. She was so happy it felt like a prayer was being answered, because the visitors could be the roommates, were true companions, friends, people she could count on. So it seems like it was their intuition that led them down there to the area where Xana was, or wherever Xana was. I want to say down there, up there, wherever she was. And anyway, their intuition, it wasn't logical for them to go investigate, but their intuition led them there, and their hunches were correct. So anyway, that moment Xana got happy and she asked for help. Not sure why they didn't think about the police, but their solution was to go to the school, go find help, go get somebody that can help us. But was it snowing or raining that day? Because for some reason they were stuck. So either they were mentally stuck or their vehicle was stuck in the mud. It said that struggling will only get you to muddier places. So they decided to shift their focus. So as Xana is there contemplating the next move to make, something happens unexpectedly. She gets a visitor. She was so happy it felt like a prayer was being answered because the visitors could be the roommates, were true companions, friends, people.
Okay, you can see it goes on and on, but you can see that the details, the confidence at a time, and but also, what else was going on with her eviction, and then going to escape her troubles by traveling around. We don't know exactly how she traveled or how much she really had to her name, but and whether or not she'd really be able to pay this amount. Like I said, I just think that I don't know. I don't have the details of the court as far as evaluating mental health issues, but I do think that should have been a part of this. Because it's not her fault that TikTok and other social media can blow up so big. And in this particular Idaho case, it was just such a huge story that was not Ashley's fault, there were so many questions, and that people were just gravitated towards this overconfident person who normally wouldn't have gotten this much attention. And of course Ashley got drunk on that attention, and even to this day I think just very full of herself over it, because you go viral, it goes to your head. Of course it is. Anyone, it's just like, wow, I'm great. But it was for the wrong reasons, of course. And she didn't, because she was not someone who normally got so much attention, she dug her heels in and doubled down, tripled down. I mean, that video you just saw her talking, she posted reposted in 2025. So I think it was a combination of just like all multiple things playing into this that caused this to happen, and that led to this end result of her having to pay $10 million. And I just think that there's a lot of victims in this. I don't think it's as cut and dry as you might think at first. And I think also that, you have to be careful if you're a tarot reader or a psychic or anything, to always be, as we've learned on YouTube, allegedly, entertainment purposes only, because you never know when something you're covering could potentially turn around and cause this. But again, do I really think it's fair that this girl who looks to me to have mental health issues should pay $10 million? I don't really think that's fair. I don't think that the way things turned out, a normal, rational, sane person would have ceased and desisted when they got a letter from a lawyer saying cease and desist, right? A normal, rational person, when the police come to visit you and say, stop doing this, you would stop, right? So that's why I feel like, because of mental health issues, she couldn't stop. She was drunk with the attention. She felt validated, and like as you saw, she was evicted from her home. What happened there? I think things were going on. She went to Bali to make videos to make it look like she was living the high life. She wanted, because she was famous now. She was drunk on the power of fame, and a lot of people are criticizing her, just like, Meghan Markle and whatever, public figures. She became a public figure from this. So I think that the trips, flashing the money on video, that was all. And like she said herself, oh, I woke up this morning beautiful and I decided to let all those bitches know how great my life is. So she's hitting back at her critics and all the people telling her, you're crazy, stop, She just kept, doubled down. But the thing is, like I said, it was all for show. It was all flash. She was just trying to save her reputation and her ego. And like I said, a normal, sane person would have stopped doing what she was doing and, maybe pulled down their account themselves. But she couldn't stop herself. She And I do think that's, there's a mental health situation there. This was not someone acting, normally and rationally. And for that reason, I really don't think that I think that should have been addressed and gotten her help for that, rather than just slamming her with a huge fine, which obviously, if she's evicted from her home and she went to other countries that are with a dollar exchange, is better. I mean, I don't know her financial situation, but I doubt she's got millions that she's living off of if she's being evicted. I could be wrong, but I'm just saying I really don't think so. So that tells me that it's a punitive and over the top punishment that you're inflicting on someone who couldn't help themselves due to mental health issues. And I'm not saying, it's okay what she did, but I question whether she really realized this fully, how wrong her actions were. In other words, yeah, I don't think now people, people who were in the courtroom where she was cross-examining herself, felt that she was faking it to, try to get insanity defense. They thought, they just accused her of faking it. But, a lot of mentally ill people think you're faking it. So, and these are not mental health practitioners making the statement. These are just random TikTokers or YouTubers giving their 2 cents. So, and that's just what I'm doing. I'm just giving my 2 cents, but I don't really think it's fair. I think that her mental health issues should have been addressed instead. And, yeah, I think this was just a storm that brewed, and this person, again, who would normally have never gotten nearly as much attention because of the wrong, situation and the way and what was going on. And yeah, so I don't really think that, they should have I don't think it was handled at the end of the day the way it should have been. And I don't think that, yeah, I'm not I feel bad for her. I think that even though she may be, I'm sure, still overconfident and arrogant about it, and I'm sure she's still saying she's did nothing wrong and her cards are right, again, I don't think she has the capability of understanding that what she did was wrong, in my opinion. But what do you think? I don't know. That's how I feel. I feel bad for her and this whole situation. And I mean, I feel bad for everybody. I mean, of course, I feel bad for the woman falsely accused of murder by her repeatedly. And, she had every right, of course, to sue her like this. But again, you're dealing with somebody with, not playing with a full deck of cards here. And I think it could have been handled a different way. But maybe that's all they could do. Maybe there was no other way that the victim could have, the professor who was falsely accused could have handled it. I don't know. But, I'm dissatisfied with how things turned out with this situation. I don't want to hear that this pushed this tarot reader over the edge or something with this happening. I hope she is getting the help that she needs, instead of, just punishing her more. When she was getting her fleeting fame, her once in a lifetime fame from this, that she got, a little drunk on power from. And, this happens to everyone, who this kind of thing happens to. You get sudden world fame and it goes to your head, and then, you rise up, and then you crash down if you're not handling things well, and you're not going to handle things well if you're mentally ill. So what do you think? Let me know. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.